Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of the basic human rights for all people. But as one that is reaching out to be the next president of the United States of America, I think it's essential that I have these morning talks with you. In fact, I think it's essential that I have several talks with you each and every day. Many of you who aren't interested in your life, you're just running around like a duck with your head cut off. You might not want to spend but 2 seconds looking at some post, maybe some turkey flipping over doing some hurdles. That might be interesting to you, or to see some dog sliding when he should be walking. That might be interesting to you. But to a lot of people, things that matter are things that have to do with whether they have peace in their lives or joy in their lives. So if there are things that might come and complicate that situation, then I think as one who is watching out over you, looking out to protect you, it is my duty and my responsibility as I observe to come forth and share this stuff with you. And so that is what I am doing today. I have noticed most recently that there are a lot of people that are being killed in some of the major cities where some of the greatest pains and suffering have been endured. And I hear people saying this crap has got to stop. And this crap must stop, as so many other craps must stop. But we have to put things in perspective. You got people who, for over 400 years, and even today, you still treat as 3/4 citizens. They don't act normal. They haven't been respected normal. They haven't been given the education and the indoctrination of normality except that which they are doing. This is acceptable to the system for what they're doing because of how they've been reduced in their humanity. But it's no different than the humanity of those who have been reduced to the form of hate and bigotry. The ones that walks around with guns claiming that this is their land and nobody else's land. And the Jews can't walk on it, the natives can't walk on it, Africans can't walk on it. The only thing that can walk on it is lily white. And if anybody else is walking on it, they're walking on it as servants. And they, my friends, you will be treated as animals. You won't be treated like a pet, because they love these little dogs and animals that they got. Now, I'm not talking about, you know what yes I am. I'm talking about exactly what we have been exposed to in this country. Now, when I say whites, I don't want any white person to think that I'm talking about all white people. Now, all white people might have been there at one point in time, but there are many of you who have in time and over time recognize that this is stupid. Just like there are many other people of other shades that are just like white people. I'm only calling out white people because there's a power structure in this country. I'm only calling out white people because it is the white people who got their knees on the necks of those that are suffering. So that's why I'm calling them out. Don't think it's any other reason. But these are the things that we have to deal with every day. We have to accept these things, understand these things, and that's how we deal with the problems. But if we want these things to stop, if we really want these things to stop, let's think about what brings these things on. Let's really think about it. We're talking about the economy. The president says, the economy, let's start the economy. Let's ignore all of the pandemics. Let's stop the testing. Let's stop doing anything. And the truth of the matter is, you, the public, won't even know it. The news media won't even mention it to you. You'll just be dying like flies in your own little privacy. Won't nobody know about it until all of the job spaces are open now because people have died. And the economy is open up for people to get new jobs. And now because you're getting jobs, you don't even mind people dying. Isn't that a hell of a way to be living, ladies and gentlemen? Well, see, that is what is important to some people. Now, when I say that, let's look at what's going on. We say this crap has got to stop. What has happened for the people who have been in bondage for 400 years? Even since George Floyd was murdered in public before the world, what has happened? You knock some statues down, okay? What does that do? You admit it in some places that racism has been the downfall of America, has existed, is existing, and needs to change. Okay, you got the people that admit that, right? Okay, what else has happened? What else has happened? Well, let's compare that with the coronavirus. Now, the coronavirus is dangerous. And what are they doing about that coronavirus? They're saying that the president wants to stop the testing because he's just that kind of person. But the public wants to end the virus. So they're saying test, find out what's going on, come up with a vaccine. Let's come up with some medication to defeat this stuff. That's what the public is doing. And the scientists, those who are professionals who can deal with stuff like this, who understands these kinds of things, out there doing what they can do to bring about a change. Okay? What about victimization of blacks in this country, people of color in this country? What are you doing about that? Are there anybody sitting around making some plans, talking about how we're going to make sure that these people can go to college now, that they can get their education when they want to? Is there anybody sitting around at the table saying, what are we going to do to make sure that these guys will be able to have houses and food and clothing and stuff just like everybody else? What are we doing? Where are we sitting around the tables talking about, let's make sure that all these people got access to health care, unlimited, unrestricted, from the womb to the tomb? Anybody sitting around? Where are those discussions taking place? Where are they taking place, that people who are now selling drugs trying to make some money, whatever they're doing, lying, stealing, trying to make some money, maybe hitting you side the head, trying to make some money, start calling up some scams on the telephone, trying to rip the old folks out of some money? Where are those conversations that saying we got to come up with some plans that would really eradicate these problems? Nobody's talking about no police. Police just represent your failure. Police beating people side the head represents what you have decided you weren't going to do. Well, the people are saying to hell with you, you're going to do it. So when you say this stuff got to stop, don't just stop thinking about you got to stop acting on the other end and you got nothing to do. No, my friends, yes, take those statues down. That's a sign. Admit that you have been doing some crazy things. That's a sign. But the pains and suffering haven't stopped. And until you deal with that, you haven't done a darn thing. And you have no authority whatsoever, no moral authority, to ask anybody to stop responding to their pain and suffering. And anybody who try to ask these people to stop responding to their pain and suffering, they are the same ones that were standing around watching George Floyd pass out of this world. So you city mayors, and you legislators, and you state governors, and you legislators, you're pissed off at what's happening, then fix the system. Fix the system. You got a system that's causing people pain every day. You're talking about open up an economy. Who benefits from the economy? Do these, my friends, people of color? Or do they just benefit a little bit? Well, it must be a little bit, because across the railroad track, the buildings are rotting out, the homes are falling over, dilapidated, the cities are falling down. Ragged cars and people walking around trying to figure out what they're going to do like they gone in a dumbbell. Now, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? You're not doing a damn thing. And everybody in this country knows that I'm telling the absolute truth. You're not doing a darn thing. And just because you snatched a few statues down, just because you say we were wrong, you think people go back and sit back down on their butts, still can't pay their bills, still don't have a check coming in, still people trying to rip them off. The system rips them off. They're ready, committed to give up themselves, to give the best that they have to offer, to make this the greatest nation that this nation can be. We're not trying to make America greater than any other nation. What kind of foolishness is that? We can only be as great as we can be. And we can only be no greater than what we were made to be. And if that's what we seek after, do you really want it? Do you know the responsibility of the greatest? The greatest got to look out for everybody else, except the devil thinks the greatest is for the devil's benefit and the devil's only. That ain't God, ladies and gentlemen. And I come to represent God. So this morning I come to tell you that yes, there's a lot of havoc going on in this country still. And you know why? It is because the main issues are not being addressed. We're not being fooled, ladies and gentlemen. America, you politicians, we're not being tricked. We're not being fooled. We've gone through this stuff for 400 years and we're still going through it right now. And you have not done one thing. You give Kaepernick a job. You think you've done something to eradicate and deal with the problems that exist for all of these years? The pain and suffering that goes on in this country, the pain and suffering that's going on in Russia and China and Africa and other places. You think This, ladies and gentlemen, is a sign to something. This is not a sign. This is like a dummy going to school and not even listening in the classroom, just sitting back there playing tic-tac-toe. And then come out want to be president of the United States, saying they know everything. Well, we have an opportunity to change this, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, the same things that you were doing 3 months ago, every day, routines, the repetition, the same discussions in the church 3 months ago, all those things that were taking place 3 months ago, even 5 months ago, today, my friends, those things that allowed all of the crap to be happening, and we knew it, but we act like we didn't, but something happened and exposed it all to the world to see. Now, this day, after all of this time has passed, and everything has been exposed, are we doing anything different to make a difference today than we were doing 5 months ago? And I would say to you, look at the evidence. Has anything changed that matters? And what's your answer? You got a stimulus check and it's gone now. And where is this economy going? What are they talking about in this economy that's going to make it so fantastic, that's going to enable America to address its citizens just like the privileged have been addressed all along? And ladies and gentlemen, those of you who talk about saving with a